Well, we are just getting going here. We ended up starting this field last night, but we are currently broke down. So we're putting some fuel in the combine, and we need to work on this head for a while. I don't know what this is all gonna involve, but I had this gathering chain fall off here last night, and we've got bearings out or something on this one side here of row number 6. So we're gonna have to dig into that. I don't know what I'm gonna need for parts. I won't know until I get it apart. So we had another breakdown here the other day. We had to replace an idler pulley that goes on the engine. It's where the serpentine belt runs between the alternator and the air conditioner compressor, and it also runs the vacuum unit for the rotary screen. So we're gonna go ahead and dive into this, and hopefully they have parts for it. So well, let's get her started here. Alright, here is the progress that we have made so far. It appears that the bearing is out on this outside part too, which if it ran out of something, it would have ran into a bunch of debris that would have come out of this side, and it took this side out as well. Now, I have not had one of these apart before. So we pulled the plug out and there's still grease in there. These were all serviced before we started the year, and I'm not really sure what happened other than this has got some age on it. So I've got these Allen head screws all loose. They're just kind of sitting in there hand tight. We had a little bit of a time getting them loose, but we got them. The whole idea is we want to try to get this fixed in the field and not have to drive it home, because we're about 12 miles away from home. You will notice that I've got a little injury on this one snout, and that doesn't look too bad right now, but it didn't look too all pretty the other day. I had one of the YouTube guys here say the other day that if you've never injured a snout, you've never combined corn before. Well, this is the first one that I've done, and I'm not too happy about it. So we've combined a few acres, and we've been into some mud here and there. I was just in a little soft spot the other day. Nothing too crazy, nothing that should have caused anything to happen like that, but it happened. So it is what it is, but at least it's still somewhat straight. Yeah, but Rich was here the other day. We had an issue with the four-wheel drive on this, and Rich from Kaz Equipment, and he used a salamander heater. We put some heat on that plastic, and we got it fixed for the most part. We're gonna leave it like that. I don't really want to get a new one because it'll look out of place because of the color difference. So unless I can find a used one. But yeah, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to raise this head up, put our safety in on it, get underneath it, and try to get that gearbox out of there. I don't know what it's all gonna entail. Like I said, I have not been into them before. So, yeah, all right. Alright, we're gaining little by little here. We've got the cover off of this chain case on this right hand side. We took the chain apart, took the sprocket off, and now we are just trying to get down to where we can pull this shaft out. This shaft goes all the way across. It drives half of the head. These 3 row units here, and then we'll be able to get the gearbox out. We've got the gearbox unbolted. We've got a couple more things to do, and then hopefully we can slide this unit right out of there. Well, we've got this off of there all as one unit, but it is heavy. So we'll start taking it apart, and we'll get the stock rolls off, and then we're going to run the gearbox down to Kaz in Cortland and match it up to the one that they have. They have one for the other side. We just got to switch the slip clutch around to this side here, or to the left side. They got one with the slip clutch running on the right. So we'll get this tore down a little farther, and then we'll get on the road and match up what they have. Okay, so we kind of took too much off all at one time. We could have took the deck plates off when it was still up on the combine, and then it would have made this unit a lot lighter. So we've got the snap and rolls. They are bolted to the front of this gearbox, and we just have to remove these cap screws here, and I would think it would come right out of there. So we'll get at it here and see how we make out with that. Okay, so we have this apart, and they're telling me that they have this gearbox along with this bolted to it with the shafts for these stock rolls. So we're going to take this whole unit down there to see what they actually have and go accordingly. The one that they have is going to have the slip clutch on this side, so we would just have to take these cap screws out, pull this center hub assembly out, flip it over, slide it all back together so that it puts this on this side here. So we're going to run down there and have them get us fixed up. These stock rolls are brand new, or they were new last year, so I don't think it's necessary to have to change them, but if it comes that way, it comes that way. So let's head on down to Kaz in Cortland. All right, we are back here with our new parts. They had this whole complete unit sitting on the shelf. This comes with the stock roll shafts and everything. We just removed the stock rolls themselves. They had a big puller. They pulled, one side came off, the other one didn't. So we split that gearbox where the stalk rollers come on to this one here. We split that off of there for no reason. This one also has the slip clutch drive on the right side, so we don't have to switch that around like we originally thought. If you were to use this on that side of the head, you'd have to pop these cap screws out, pull this cover off, pull this out, flip it over, and put it back in. So we've got some lifting power here. We're gonna go ahead and set this on that square tube there, and then we'll try to get some bolts in it, lift it up a little bit, and then we can put the deck plate and everything on there. We took this all off as one, but it is what it is, so we'll put it back together in pieces. This has got a little bit of weight to it, and we also need to make sure it's got corn head grease in here. So let's go ahead and get her on there. Better put some gloves on. You don't want to have your hand roll up in there.
Yeah.
So, right? Yeah. So we got to get some loads made. We've got 4 trucks here now, and 1 more on its way. How much of a wait time did you have today?
It was an hour and like maybe 10
Yeah,
minutes.
yesterday was 3-4 hours.
Yeah, 3 hours.
So, yeah. All right, let's get it together.
How heavy is
Just gotta watch it, because these curve. Lift up the bottom a little bit, and I'll put the bolts in. That was that worked pretty good, didn't it, Sarah?
Yeah. She got her gloves on for nothing.
There wasn't room for 3 people anyways. All right, so we got this guy on there. Now we need to set this here on, and then we can start bolting this all back together. So we've got 1 more heavier item to set on there, and then we'll about have all the heavy work done. So we'll get this stuff freed up. All right, you guys ready? We've got this here to go on.
Oh, wait, let me get my gloves. Let me put my gloves on. Probably do it myself by the time you wait for that. Look at my new gloves.
We'll get right on that side, and then we'll set it right over
I want to do it.
top.
Alright,
I'm doing
hurry
it.
up.
Give me a second. Give me a second. I'm putting off the gloves.
Hurry up.
Give me. Okay. I'm ready to go. Where are we going?
That dirt off. Across this piece that we're picking up. Alright, so this is going to go over the top now. Alright, okay. You want to step out?
Step in and step out.
I'll get these bolts here. I'll find them, then we'll just have to lift that end up a little bit. Alright, Alright, so we are gaining on it, fast and for sure. We've got that whole unit bolted and hooked to the framework. We put some sheet metal back on. They are just putting the covers on the bottom of the snapping rolls. You guys got to adjust them, try to put them where they were and judge them by the other ones. What we're doing now is we're putting this slip clutch together. Why I took it apart, I don't know, but I did. Once I get these bolts tight, we'll set that back on the shaft of the gearbox. I could have left this right on there and it would have came out with the old one, and then we could have bolted it onto the new one. So we'll get our adjustment made here on this slip clutch, and then we'll slide it onto the end of the row unit. And then once we get that on there, then we can slide our hex shaft that's going to be driven from this side here. So we're getting there. Well, we've just got to put a couple of snouts on, and then we've got to put the shaft through along with these drive sprockets. We need the drive sprocket that's going to run the shaft that goes across, coming off of the driven shaft from the combine. And then what they're doing now is they are pumping grease into this row unit here, and they're pumping it in from the bottom, and it's going to come out in the top. So this is the greaser here that they're greasing, and then it's going to come out in that plug there. So they're just loading this whole cavity with grease. So we got Big Bill rolling on in here. I've got about 6 ton left to put on his truck, and then he can take it. So these guys are gonna move trucks around.
Okay. That's a lot.
And yeah, you got grease. Oh, it's coming out. All right. So we can put our plug back in.
Yeah.
And why don't you grease these sprockets too with that same grease.
Sprockets.
All right, I'll tighten that up, and then yeah, I'll get the rest of this together here. So all right, we've got our drive sprockets and chains on. We've got the plastic setting on there. Now we just got to run this hex shaft across the head and get our various goodies on there so we can get moving. Okay, all we have left to do is put this drive chain on that auger, tighten it up, hook our shaft up, and we will be good to go. So let's giddy up here. These guys have gone moving trucks and they are going to be ready for us here. All right, we have this thing all back together. And we are now going to get rolling here. So hopefully we don't have any more problems with this. Jared. All right, let's roll. Okay. That looks a little better. Now, we need to go ahead and get a quick load on for Bill here, which we only need a bin. So, let's go ahead and get it. Okay. Alright. Well, we don't do this too often, but this truck had 14.5 ton on it. And we were loading it last thing last night. And we're gonna get him out of here. I just offloading it direct from the combine. And then we're actually moving to a different field. So everything is working very nicely on this head. We're gonna have to go through this head on those shafts coming up through the gearbox that the gathering chain's hooked to. There's a bushing, like a bronze bushing that goes down in that housing. And what there is like a spiraled spring that's supposed to work that grease up to the top. And usually the springs break and it doesn't work that grease up, and then you end up having the problem that we have. That gearbox that we replaced today was $2,400. So just out of 6 gearboxes for this head, that's over 12 grand. Well, it's actually 14. It'd be 14 grand if you had to replace all of those gearboxes. So we ain't gonna get all of this bin onto Bill here. So we're gonna let him roll on out of here. Sarah, let me put the rest on you. So we're gonna have to take a peek at them, but we're definitely gonna have to get into them this winter here and address those, because I really do not want to monkey around with having to replace any more of them gearboxes. All right, well, that is gonna do it for this video. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will catch you at the next one. Bin is empty, and we're gonna move on down the road here.